This is a guy whose face you probably don't recognize. But in films, he's the person who's made you go, oh my God, I mean in awe and take your breath away. If you saw Poltergeist, and if you saw Ghostbusters, and if you saw any of the three in the saga, of the Star Wars saga, this is the guy who does the special effects. He's the one who, my goodness, with the new special effects in 2010, if I didn't go at least 17 times, Richard.
Really, I scared you?
No, I wasn't exactly scared. It was when things happened so quickly to me. I mean, they really shocked me, and it did take my breath away.
Yeah, well, good.
Well, good. You want to do that too. Who's the most receptive kind of person out there? Are the little kids more receptive, or somebody my age, or somebody older? Who
It
is
depends
most
on
receptive?
the picture, you know. I think that it depends on the personality. I don't think age has anything to do with it. I think that, but of course you put it in the context of a horror picture, and you know, I'd be surprised if I don't get everybody. Except I can tell you, I got a funny story. I went to the opening of Poltergeist in New York at the National Theater, I think, on 42nd and Broadway, or 46th and Broadway. And John Simon was sitting in front of me, a film critic, you know, the William Buckley of film critics. And he said, I talked to him before the show, and I said, doesn't this stuff ever scare you? And he says, not a bit. You know, and I knew there were a couple of hits in the show where it was, you know, everybody was going to go like that, and not John Simon. It was like he was sculpted in his chair.
Well,
so there's some people you can't get to, no matter how hard you try.
He's probably so objective that he's determined not to get involved.
Right.
In fact, for me, that is the key. If the film or the play can suck me into it so that I forget that I am there to note, did that really work technically, or how's the actor perform?
Yeah.
That, to me, is the key.
Yeah.
I'm caught up in it.
Oh, yeah, you've got to be caught up in it, and if you're not, it's the director's fault. But on the other hand, if we let the director down and we don't scare you when we're supposed to, or we don't cause a shot that will engender awe to happen at the right time, then we're at fault.
Well,
so we've got a responsibility.
You have reached the state of the art.
Yeah.
Down the road, are there going to be things like feel-o-vision and smell-o-vision? You've come so far. When you think about 2001 and compare it with 2010, I mean, goodness gracious, and that was, well, let's see, that film was originally done by 1968.
Right.
Hasn't been that long ago. But where you've come technically is astronomical.
Well, I think that we've got plenty of places to go. I'm not worried about, I'm not lacking any ideas, or nor are the people that work with me. I think that we can handle any sort of project. Just to illustrate, we did Ghostbusters in 2010 this year. Now, if you ever saw Apples and Oranges together, those are two totally dissimilar pictures, and yet the same crew basically came up with both pictures in the same year.
Richard, do you think there's life in outer space?
Well, I'd say the mathematical probabilities are pretty slim, but Arthur Clarke makes a pretty good case there.
No, personally.
Personally, I think the probabilities are too, I think that there may have been, or there may become life somewhere, but my theory is that for them to be happening concurrently with us, I don't think so right now.
We'll find out. Let's
but there might be.
Always leave open the option.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was the hardest thing for you to do in the film 2010? Technically, the most difficult thing.
To come up with a look that would vie with 2001 and other fantastic pictures that have gone by. We had the onus and the responsibility to produce images that would catch the audience in the right way and convince them that Peter's picture was working. And in other words, whenever we cut out into outer space, if it looked phony, we let the picture down. And if it looked good, that was fine, but it had to really look great because of the act that we're following.
Well, there was a little scene where Roy Scheider takes some pens and puts them in the air in zero gravity. They stay.
Right.
But they didn't always stay and try to do it. How many takes did you have to do?
Oh, we did those. He did some takes where he's trying to stick them on glass, but I convinced Peter not to use that because it looked to me like he was sticking it on glass. So I said, Peter, please shoot it so that he's miming putting the pens up there, and then we'll mat them in. And that's what happened. We ultimately then shot the pens and matched the exact move of his hand, which sounds simple, but believe me, it was arduous to do that.
Now, we can make it so it takes very little play.
We have enough fuel in the Discovery for a launch. You have enough fuel in the Leonov for a trip home. You have enough fuel in the Leonov for a trip back home. You have enough fuel aboard the Leonov for the trip home. I'm so amazed by this.
How many people worked in the technical aspect of 2010?
An average of 100 people. At maximum, we had 160.
Well, it is spectacular, and you should be very proud.
Thanks.
You see with that little smile, I know you are.
Well, we're happy. It's out there, and I heard some people at the screening last night applauding some of our shots. So that always makes me feel good. It makes it worth it for me.
Richard Edlund is his name. He did all the special effects for the new movie 2010, and it is something else. Thank
Great.
you very
Thank you.
much,
Thank you.
Richard. Please stay tuned. There's a lot more to come as 10/11 Morning continues.